Alrighty, everybody, buckle up, grab a drink, and let's get ready for some more StarCraft. Today, what we got going on for you is we are still in the Brood War number one Brood War StarCraft Underground tournament. And the reason why we number them is we have several going at the same time. I think we've got 4, maybe 5 Brood War tournaments going on. But anyway, this one's nearing completion, and right now this is the semifinals. Well, I guess not semifinals. This is the losers bracket to get into the semifinals. And right now what we're seeing Styx over here in the bottom right. And this is Polypoid, by the way. We can go ahead and take a look at it here in a second. But Styx here playing Zerg in the bottom right. And you can see that they're talking about it. RiceHat was thinking that he'd be playing Terran. And then RiceHat down here in the bottom left in the 7 o'clock position. Both these players very, very strong. Both these players have been doing very well in this tournament. Anyway, this is Polypoid, 4-player map. We do have, as I just mentioned, kind of bottom right, bottom left spawns. And we'll go ahead and see how they end up scouting. We have the Overlord for Styx heading up north. And I'll go ahead and turn off the whole map now. It's Polypoid. I think everyone's been pretty fairly used to this map. But anyway, so yeah, if you haven't heard of StarCraft Underground, it is pretty new, but it's growing pretty rapidly. And the whole idea behind it was to have regularly scheduled tournaments in which you have a week to play your match, within the bracket, right? Double elimination. Right now, there are 8-player brackets, and it's very flexible timings, right? So if you have kids, if you work all the time, if you struggle to be able to participate in tournaments that happen on, in the middle of the day on Saturdays, or if you're in Europe and you can't play in North American tournaments due to time zone issues, that's what StarCraft Underground is for. And right now, all these players, especially RiceHat and Styx, they're competing for a slot. Only one of these players will end up in the semifinals and potentially the finals to basically level up to the next bracket, right? That's what we're playing for. There's no prize support as of yet. It's all about basically climbing the internal ladder within SC Underground. And so we do have an SCV from RiceHat going ahead and getting an immediate scout, first shot win there of Styx. And that is going to help, right? Being a Terran going against Zerg, especially you saw the conversation kind of going on earlier, getting that early scout off is just so beneficial and really inspires some confidence in knowing that you're not getting 5-pooled or anything crazy. Styx also getting a drone over here to the bottom left, which was to be expected with the Overlord going up north. He's going to spit at this SCV a little bit. Does have to do an SCV swap here on the fast expansion, doing a barracks fast expand, it looks like. Opting to skip gas, you'll notice, which is pretty standard, I think. Going against Zerg, you see a lot of this heavy bio play. I know one of the builds that I've been playing with is kind of like a 4 racks build. Went up against Zerg. And we'll go ahead and have to see how Styx kind of responds to this. So far, does have the spawning pool going for a layer. I'm not sure on my layer timings, but this seems pretty quick. Might be rushing as fast as possible to get up into, obviously either Mutalisks or Lurkers is kind of the decision at this point. And we'll see which one he decides on going for. Now, one thing to note, RiceHat did not wall the natural. I do see a lot of people walling the natural with their initial first buildings, the barracks, a couple depots, maybe even a bunker. And it does look like he's kind of starting that wall now. So he might be building some Marines, and then at some point in a pause of production or during a push or something, he might maybe move one down. But we'll just have to see how that kind of goes. Right now we do have Styx just poking out with a few Zerglings. We don't see any more being kind of built, but we do have Zergling speed on the way, and he did opt to go fast Mutalisks, right? So getting that Spire up nice and on time is going to be able to poke in here with Mutalisks rather quickly. Now, right now, RiceHat does have Marine coverage. Not really watching the front here. These Zerglings are going to get a lot of Marines for essentially free. And RiceHat will poke out here and just clean up the remaining. Now, we do have the Academy. We got Stim on the way. A couple medics on the way as well. The medics are usually kind of the trigger for a push, so we'll see if that happens. Comsat going down. Because he still doesn't know if, you know, maybe it's going to be a lurker play or mutalisks. Getting this Comsat down will help prevent any crazy lurkers. And he has the academy up, so might as well get in the other one as well. Alright, cool. So we've got 6 Marines, 2 medics heading out. He does have the engineering bay going down as well for potential turret production and then additional bio upgrades. And what do we have on defense here? So Styx was able to see that move out. And so Styx is going to be throwing down a sunk, and I imagine this is going to get, yeah, transformed right away. And a second one going down. This might be a little too slow. I don't know. You know, the stim is going off. RiceHat's going in here. He's targeting the correct one. The one that was started sooner. It does get out, but I don't think it's going to last very long. This one definitely not ready. And these Zerglings don't look like enough. Now, there's a few Mutalisks on the way. There's 3 being produced right now. And then 3 Zerglings. But this is doing a lot of damage. 6 Marines and 2 medics. Picking off an Overlord. Here comes the Mutalisks. Are the Mutalisks going to be able to hold this off? Got a little bit of micro here. Trying to keep them alive. Waiting for reinforcements. 2 more Mutalisks coming up in production. And then with these Zerglings, I think Styx holds. Yeah, he's going to be able to hold this just fine. The hatchery's going to survive. I don't think this was, you know, ever going to be like a lethal attack. But it still did do a good amount of damage. You look up here in the top right, and Styx is sitting at 17 workers to 29 SCVs for RiceHat. And I feel like RiceHat took an early lead. Now, with Mutalisks on the field, though, this is where the counterpunch comes. And Styx is going to be able to move in here. Turrets are going down everywhere. But I feel like there's probably still an opportunity to get some picks. You know, there actually are so many turrets. Opting to move the Marines and medics up to the main base is probably a good idea. And these Mutalisks just aren't going to be able to really get anything done. Strong reaction by RiceHat. He still has that economic lead, so he can afford to kind of throw down as many turrets as he did. Right now we've got Marine range on the way. In addition to +1 weapons for bio. These Mutalisks are looking a little bruised and beaten. But what these Mutalisks are going to do is they're going to provide complete opportunity for like early scouting if there's any pushes. Understanding exactly what's going on with the Terran army and effectively keeping them contained. And all the while getting that third base. Now, you'll see here Styx opted to take a third base way up here to the top right and securing the natural. A lot of people will, you know, secure that natural because it's easier to then secure the main base up on top of the ramp. So you kind of get 2 for an easier time than just taking the main and then being contained up there once it's identified. So if he can get a good defensive stronghold here, he can take that main very easily. And combined with this contain, that base is going to be safe for a long time. So continued Marine production. We do see a starport going down. He did get a factory with a machine shop. Tanks are being produced. Ooh. Mutalisk going down. Little unfortunate there. This ball of Marine medic proving to be a very formidable force right there at the entrance of RiceHat's base. And we do have air range, or I'm sorry, air weapons, flyer attacks being upgraded for the Zerg. I think once this probably finishes upgrading, we'll start seeing a little bit more damage here from these Mutalisks. Now he is going to see the tank. Man, these turrets and Marines, oh gosh, get these mutas out of there. Okay, he does retreat back with the mutas. More in production. Looks like Styx is going pretty much pure Mutalisk. Swapping out some of the bruised ones for healthy ones. The Marine force is continuing to grow. He's got the 4 barracks, 1 factory, 1 starport down here. He's getting that science facility at good time too, considering wherever his engineering bay is. I think he had gotten the upgrades, so he needs that to keep going to +2. And we're starting to see a move out, right? So the Mutalisks are giving an early warning to that. We do see lurkers being researched, but not a whole lot here, right? There's not any Sunkens. He doesn't have any lurkers out right now. I think this might be a little bit dangerous for Styx. Now Styx, if he can inspire enough fear to just stall this Terran army back, I think he'll be able to build up very quickly. Now, I think Siege has been researched. We'll have to see here in a second. I might have missed it, but we do have science facilities on the, or I'm sorry, science vessels on the way with Irradiate being researched, and that's gonna be very, very painful for these clumps of Mutalisks. Taking some pot shots at the Overlord. Okay, since the move out is happening, the Mutalisks can get back rather quickly. I think he might try to poke in here with them, get some worker kills. Maybe not. I don't know. Oh, still no Sunkens. Just a few drones. I wonder if they were sent there as either part of the army or out. This looks really bad. Might be able to pick off a tank here. Siege was researched, yep. I don't know if Styx is going to be able to hold this. Oh my gosh. Nope. The Mutalisks go down, and that's going to be game 1. Alright, so game 1 in the series between RiceHat and Styx does go to RiceHat. So let's go ahead and take a look at game number 2. Really tight play from both players. I feel like if there was just a little bit more defense there for Styx, he would have held that and we would have had a pretty long game. That initial economic damage as well with those 6 Marines and 2 medevacs, or 2 medics, did a lot too. I think that was probably the game-winning move, and just maintaining the lead he was able to do with, you know, all the turrets and everything that was up. All right, so game number 2, we are on Dominator. Now, Dominator, 3-player map, and you'll see here up at the 11 o'clock position, we have RiceHat, our Terran. You know what? And I'll shift tab, make him red and blue, make it easier for everyone to see. So, red Terran, 11 o'clock, that is RiceHat, and then Styx over here at the 3 o'clock position, playing Zerg, and then the third base is down here at the 7 o'clock. And we'll see what kind of their scouting patterns have been and where they'll end up checking. We do have the Overlord going straight towards the 11 o'clock position. I'm not sure the distances here, but I wouldn't be surprised if Styx sent a drone, obviously, to the other location. But I think the drone's probably going to get here first, right? So Overlord's not going to be able to see whether or not he expanded. I don't know, actually. I don't know what the timing is. I'll have to keep an eye on that and see how fast or how long it takes the Overlord to get to the natural. Might be helpful information if you ever want to move out a couple Marines and try to snipe it off or something like that. Opting not to go for a wall off again with the initial buildings. RiceHat is building a supply depot. And just like every Brood War game, the first 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes, it's just building workers and mining. I've really enjoyed watching the games, and I think if you've been watching this playlist, I was noticing as well, because I didn't cast all of the games from the tournament, but the ones I did cast, you're starting to see a lot of repeat names, right? We've seen RiceHat play a few times, we've seen Styx play a few times, and some of the other names, and I think that's okay, because these are some of the higher performing individuals in this bracket, and their games are just so fun to watch and learn from. Especially if you're like a beginner Brood War player like I am. Like I was telling someone recently, I was playing like one of the bracket games in, I think, Brood War 4, and I took a map off a guy, and that was the first time, and this is embarrassing, but that was the first time I had taken a map off of anybody. The only other wins I have in Brood War are people leaving on the ladder. That's how new and bad I am at playing the game. Alright. Spawning pool goes down. Got the expansion for the Zerg. Now, I didn't see when the Overlord got here, but it was around 2:15-ish, and that's good to know. That's just a helpful little thing. You can kind of poke over there maybe with an SCV or a Marine, see which direction that Overlord came from, especially on a 3-player map, and know, okay, that's where he's at. instead of sending the SCV all the way down here. He did send 2, so he really wanted to know quickly where Styx was, and I wonder if that means he's going to be setting up for any type of early pressure. This time, he has mixed it up a little bit and gone for an early bunker. And we imagine he'll be throwing down CC. We have the lair. These 2 Zerglings that, you know, are going to go out and scout a little bit. Just see what kind of defenses he has up. And they're not going to get anywhere, right? Now, I don't know how fast Zerglings die to Marines, but he might be able to slip by this, actually. If he felt like it. But it doesn't even look like he's actually heading out. Ooh, he's got 6 Zerglings right off the rip. And a Hydra Den. Okay, so instead of going Mutalisks like last game, it does look like he's going to be opting for more of a Lurker Tech build. And instead of going Academy early, we are seeing the Engineering Bay go down first. Now, I wonder if this is a reaction to last game's Mutalisk play. So both players counteracting each other players' previous activity, right? So he's opting for counter Mutalisk play, get the early turrets, and because there were so many turrets last time, Styx is opting for a lurker-based approach. Which I think between those 2 decisions, that sounds to favor Styx, right? Because, I mean, like, turrets, yeah, they're good. You can still see lurkers, I think. But I think they can still outrange a turret's vision. Again, something I might need to learn and check. But if he doesn't get an Academy up, which it is going up now, but it is potentially going to delay his ability to scan, we'll see how fast he can get these lurkers up. Now, the research is almost done. He's got some gas banked up. And he has Hydralisks as a part of this rallied army that I'm sure are going to become lurkers here in a second. Okay, so a push with 7 Marines this time, no medics. And the intent here is just get rid of these Zerglings sitting out front of his base. Now, last time we saw the Zerglings poke in and draw out a few Marines and knock them out for free. So right now, that engagement probably feeling a lot better than last game's. This SCV is going to see that there are Zerglings coming across the map, but not seeing anything else, right? So he's not seeing these lurker eggs. And, you know, I was sitting here thinking and wondering, okay, why is Styx leaving his Hydralisk so far back? That right there is a great example why, you know, if he's going to send a Marine or an SCV to scout, you want the Zerglings to be able to knock them out before they can see the lurker tech, make it a surprise. And right now, I think RiceHat's completely in the dark as to what's about to hit him. Now, Supply Depot does go down here, and this is going to make a pseudo wall, and we have the first lurker burrow. Okay. Not sure if RiceHat's able to hear that, because it's so close. Oh, they are just running right up. Now, this ComSat did just go down, but there's not much here. 2 Marines, 4 in the bunker, but the bunker is about to pop. These SCVs were trying to build turrets, and these lurkers are going to do so much damage. 3 lurkers at the top of a ramp. Oh my goodness. Now, what does he have in production? Right now, the barracks are sitting dark. Missile turret going down. This looks like it could be game-ending damage. These Marines are going down. There's 1 Marine on the field, and RiceHat thinks the same thing and calls the GG. Wow. Very fast game number 2, and that's going to bring us to game number 3. Both Styx and RiceHat taking a game off of each other. Very cool. You know, what I liked about that game more than anything was the decisions being made by both based on the previous game. Like, that was just really fun to see. And this is why I love bracket play, right? Like, StarCraft Underground, very flexible scheduling. You got people of all different skill levels. But there's something special about being in a bracket as opposed to playing on the ladder, where you get multiple games against the same people. You start identifying trends about how they play, and you start trying to make little adjustments to beat that one guy. And we saw that, you know, attempted in the last match, and it seemed like the decision to go lurkers early for Styx really paid off. I mean, we saw those turrets going down. That was reflex from RiceHat expecting Mutalisks, if I were to guess, right? So very, very cool. Let's see what happens here on this map. Now, this map is Death Valley, and it is the wonky map of this series, where essentially right down here through the middle, there's no way to move across by foot, right? So there's basically the top quarter of the map, top third, whatever you want to call it. That is one section. And then you have the bottom left, which is the other section. You notice the bottom left is where most of the expansions are. But when you look at access to both the top right and the bottom left, the top right, both bases have these two assimilators here, right? And assimilators and refineries make a gas geyser smaller, so you can actually walk through here. But when they're destroyed, because they're gone, the gas is larger then and actually blocks movement. So you could destroy this and prevent someone from coming into your base, or you can destroy the opponents and prevent them from getting out, right? So that's a cool thing, but it's the only ramp that's open from the beginning. Now, down on the southern portion of each player's map, there are these mineral patches. Now, they only have like 48 minerals each, but you can kind of glitch workers through here, or whatever. You can mine it out. And then that opens up the bottom half of the map to the expansions and a second avenue of approach to your opponent. So, very crazy map. Very cool, in my opinion. I like it when maps have funky things. The problem with maps with funky things is generally they favor a race, if you know, at the super high level. But I just think it's fun because using the map and being able to destroy things is so much fun when it has an impact to the game, right? You know, you see that in StarCraft 2. There's like those rock pillars and random rocks, and now you get a lot more speed zones and stuff like that. It just creates really cool micro opportunities, really cool army engagement opportunities. And we'll see what happens here. Because scouting is really weird, but like for the Zerg, right? So he can send a drone here. Oh, and it's a two-player map, right? So you automatically know where the opponent is, which opens up for opportunities for cheeses and stuff like that. But anyway, one of the things we're probably going to see is there's usually a scouting pattern that captures this area to see, you know, when the opponent is going to expand through there. And then another portion of the scouting that kind of checks this, right? This is kind of the given natural that is most likely taken, but it's just so close to the other player's natural with these high ground areas that you can walk across. Okay, let's go ahead and check on what everyone is doing build wise. Right now it does look like just barracks expand. Now I think this is about the same thing that we saw from game one, right? Getting a gas, that'll open up to upgrade opportunities, maybe throw down the academy again. And we might be seeing, obviously, another very marine-heavy based approach here from RiceHat. Now, the Zerg player, Styx, getting that layer, getting Zergling speed. Not really at a point that differentiates anything from the previous builds. And then these Zerglings trying to take out the scout. Now, I think this is the first scout that RiceHat sent. And I think it's going to at least probably get to the natural. I don't think... Oh, no. It will die. Okay, no, it did get to the natural. So it's going to see that he expanded, but he is going to block off this ramp. And that's going to hide the layer timing and going to hide the fact that there's a spire. So, really clever micro there from Styx. I think, like, as a Terran player, I would probably heavily assume that Mutalisks are going to be the play. And primarily because this map is just so conducive for flyers, right? Because, you know, the map is separated. Ooh, Supply Depot going down. Not sure if it was canceled. And then, you know, this same little Zergling Marine dance that happens every game. Supply Depot being rebuilt. Very cool. We do have an academy up somewhere. We're seeing medics. Okay, now, historically we saw the medic push, right? This is just like game one, except didn't lose a few Marines to the initial Zergling dance. And he is going to see that push come out, right? So the Zerglings are going to give him an idea. But we already have a couple sunken colonies down. And these are going to be, you know, completed by the time he gets there. And I think that combined with any type of initial Zerglings that he builds, should be more than enough to hold this, I think. Now, that was the glitch. Okay, so we just saw it, right? So you can push workers through by using kind of the worker mining mechanic where they lose their collision. and then basically pushing them through the objects. So that is going to be where Styx takes his third, and really timely scan there. Now that scan, I'm not sure if it saw the hatchery. It didn't see creep though, right? So he, you know, he being RiceHat does know that the third isn't done, at least yet. Still sitting on 2 barracks. Did get the engineering bay and the academy, and we have turrets going up, right? Good timing for the turrets. We are seeing Mutalisks production. We're seeing Mutalisks fly across. So I think that, you know, the Mutalisks are going to be limited in the damage they can do. Now, if they can snipe these workers, oh, he's getting distracted by this one. If he was able to know what we know as viewers, oh, he might have been able to prevent those turrets from going up. Which is like the worst feeling in the world. Ooh, good surround here by the Marines come and cut off the Mutalisks. Now, I don't think any of them died. If any did, it was just like one. But I feel like on this map, having Mutalisk harass is just so powerful. Because it's so tough to break out, right? Like, if he wants to leave this, he needs to mine these. He obviously needs to defend his natural, but it's such a short distance from the other natural that, you know, he can park some stuff outside here. And there's kind of a flow to this map where if you get this kind of contain, it's kind of tough to break out. Trying to come in here and get an SCV. Does get an SCV, but takes a ton of damage on the Mutas. Loses one. Muta count up at 8 right now. We're seeing barracks double starport. See, so you can see the power of flyers on this map. Now, he did lift the factory. Factory just there to open up the tech tree. And we're starting to get the third base saturated here for Styx. Now, this is a cool little area that we've seen in other games, right? Now, he parked his overlords down here, which I really like, because that area is very exploitable to drops. And I guess the equivalent on this side of the map would be right here, right? Now, Terran Sim cities usually get so large, you usually have something over there. Oh no, Overlord going down. That is going to provide a supply block on Styx. He's got a bunch under production right now, but that's always just so annoying. 4 turrets lighting this up. I don't know if that's the place you want to be right now. Ooh, almost lost a couple of these. And right now there's just Marines everywhere. Marines everywhere, getting some control towers on these starports. Probably going to have a science facility go down here soon. Yeah, it's being produced somewhere. And really, we're going to be looking for that vessel play, right? Vessel play, potential drops. I don't think we're going to be seeing like a bunch of wraiths or anything. Yeah, so we got drop ships coming in. And the drop ships are just so powerful because you can bounce from side to side. Which just reminded me of that Ariana Grande song. Something, something, got me walking side to side. Anyway, we're going to see the factory come down here. Keep an eye and see if anything's scouting. Like I said, there's usually a scouting pattern of something being parked here to check if they're going to come across. It also sets up a juicy target for the Mutalisks to get distracted by so he can run all of his Marines over here. Another SCV goes down. Loses a Mutalisk. I don't know if 1-for-1 is the effective way to trade those right now. But keeping the army back is worth it. Because those Marines and medics were going somewhere. Oh, this looks undefended. The turret coverage doesn't quite hit these. Now we do have the dropships loading up with a bunch of Marines. He's missing that. I think he could be doing some damage here. But the Marines are going to come in. They're going to defend this area. And Styx doing a really good job of trying to thread the needle here between the anti-air coverage. Getting some good snipes here on the Marines and medics. And then we have RiceHat's drop going around the outside. Full control group of Mutalisks. Now, I'm curious where this is going to go, right? So there's so many Sunkens here. This is effectively a, hey, you're not coming in with any ground forces unless you invest in tanks kind of position. But if he flies over and drops, like, right here... Ooh, there's nothing here. There's nothing here. He would have to defend that with pure Mutalisks. Now, there's not a ton of Marines, right? Like, Okay, what? We got 6. Got 12 Marines. That's a good amount. He's gonna have to bring all his mutas back, and he's gonna lose a lot of drones. Okay, I might have been underplaying how much damage this is gonna do. And it's gonna kill a lot of these mutalisks. Oh man, they are dropping very quickly. Okay, so this drop was definitely effective. He's gonna try to take this. Oh no, I thought he was gonna try to take him out. Now he'll clean it up, obviously, but that was a very effective kind of just harassment drop there. That medic goes unseen. The forever scouting medic. Psych! Medic dies. Okay, what's going on back in RiceHat's base? We have just full production going on. We have the science vessels, and he probably has a radiate already researched. We're gonna go have to see. But a radiate, a phenomenal counter to, you know, big mutalisk blobs. And we do have the fast Zergling speed, get these cracklings going. And in great enough numbers, cracklings are just like the best unit in the game. Still not researched yet, though. Ooh, and it looks like we're going Ultralisk tech. And the Marines and Medics, looks like they're just going for a walk. It looks like they're trying to keep an eye on where these mutalisks are. Definitely probably with an itchy trigger finger on the irradiates. Now, also, just keep note, right? Like, RiceHat's still on 2 bases, which isn't the end of the world at this point. Not at all. You can see, like, there's still plenty of minerals here. But the contain has been pretty effective. Looks like you might be trying to head out this way now. Yeah, scouting to see if there's anything there. Factory's already been keeping an eye on it. Maybe a worker trick. I don't know. We'll have to see. Science vessels, Marines. Realizing that there's nothing on the map for Styx that can that's really observing what's going on for him. We are getting Ultralisks on the field. Terrifying unit. Also getting some Scourge built. Start knocking down those science vessels. And then we'll have to see when the Defilers start showing up, right? We do have Hive. We do have Queen's Nest. But it does look like we're opting for upgrades, right? Get some of those upgrades up. We got Carapace going down. Ooh, Eraser Drill coming in. But seeing what's going on, he's now going to see that there's Ultralisks. And that the Zerg player is powering up a very strong ground army. Single Mutalisk going to go follow this vessel around. Zergling keeping an eye over here. That's another thing to note that I don't think I've really talked about on this map, is there's this high ground that kind of goes all the way across the top. And you could actually, like, park like a tank, like right here, up on the high ground. It's crazy. Crazy map. Alright, Ultralisk count is growing. Upgrades are upgrading for both players. And right now, both players just macroing for days. Now, RiceHat is taking this opportunity to get that third base. He's binding these out so he can get up and down quickly. The Zergling's going to see it, knows it's there, sees there's no turrets. I imagine we're going to probably see some Mutalisks fly over, at least until he sees this enormous blob of Marines. But yeah, Styx doing kind of another natural thing and expanding, right? RiceHat's busy expanding. Well, let's go ahead and take an expansion ourselves. Makes sense. It's going to bring him up to 4 bases. Get that extra income, and especially that gas, right? Oh, there's no gas at the space. Never mind. But going Ultralisk, Mutalisks, Defilers if he goes that route. Very gas intensive. All right, we do see a move out now from our Zerg player. Our Hive enthusiast. Our Swarm Mind jabroni. Now, we do have a wall off this time. We have science vessels for radiates. Oh, but he just loaded up all his Marines in the dropships. They're not down here to defend this right now. Bad pathing on the Ultralisks. You gotta love walls. Okay, the Irradiates go down, doing massive damage. Oh, man, I don't know if this attack's gonna get much done. Oh, okay, but once we get the Ultralisk on the Marines, they just start melting. And these Ultralisks, they're gonna get a bunch of damage. Now, the Irradiates went down on the Mutalisks, which is very effective, but... Okay, there's more. Okay, more Science Vessels are coming in, a whole bunch of them. Wow, lots of science going on here. Now, the Ultralisks are spending a lot of time on these supply depots. I wish that they were over here destroying these workers, but they are definitely gonna be making their way over here. Now, I hear a lot of stimming going on. Not seeing a lot of Marines, though. Oh my goodness. Whoa, I missed it. It's because they're all down here. Okay, huge counterattack going on from RiceHat. That's where the stimming's been happening. It's going to knock out this this expansion. And there's nothing here. There's nothing here. Both players fighting on two fronts. It's like a huge base trade situation. The Ultralisks are going to come in. This is pretty effective defense. But there are just so many Marines. But Ultralisks don't care. Ultralisks have so much armor. Look at this. 1+4 armor. These Marines are doing like 1 damage a shot. Holy cow. This position looks amazing for Styx right now. Irradiated Ultralisks. You just got to get them in there so they can damage other things with the Irradiate. I don't know if RiceHat's going to win. Or I should say stay in the game. So many Science Vessels. Science Vessels being the primary army here. The next expansion for RiceHat might be going down. This looks rough. I think Styx did it. Going into full Ultralisk, we have Queens in production now as well. How crazy would it be if RiceHat held this and then we got some infested Terran on the field? GG from RiceHat, and Styx will take the series 2-0. Great game by both players. That was a really fun series to watch. I think we got 3 very different games. And I look forward to seeing what Styx brings to the table in the semifinals. I don't know who it's up against right now. But yeah, great job both players. I know they're also playing in other brackets, and we'll get some of those games up here as well. But yeah, just final thing, right? Like StarCraft Underground, it's been a great time. It works best when there's a lot of players, though. So if you're not in it, go ahead and check the description, and the Discord link where we host all of the tournaments is there, and it's open to everyone, all MMRs. And yeah, go ahead and give it a join. Anyways, thanks for watching. Bye.